They say the ocean never forgets. Beneath the waves lie the skeletons of ships once ruled by the most feared pirates in history, vessels that carried gold, blood, and secrets. Some were sunk in battles so fierce, the sea turned red. Others vanished without a trace, swallowed whole by storms no sailor could survive. But here's the question, what really happened on their final night? Why do divers speak of compasses spinning wildly, shadows moving where no light can reach, and whispers in the dark? Are these just ghost stories, or warnings from the past? These aren't just shipwrecks, they're time capsules of greed, betrayal, and curses that refuse to die. And today, we're going to open them. Number 1, the wreck of the Whydah Gally, from slave ship to pirate treasure. It was 1717 when the Whydah Gally, a former slave ship turned pirate flagship under the infamous Black Sam, Bellamy, met its doom. Bellamy wasn't your ordinary pirate, some called him the Robin Hood of the seas. He captured the Whydah loaded with gold, silver, ivory, and jewels from Spanish trade ships. It was the score of a lifetime. But greed and weather make dangerous allies. Off the coast of Cape Cod, a brutal nor'easter struck without warning. Locals described the sky as black and the waves as walls. The Whydah didn't stand a chance. She snapped apart, spilling her fortune into the churning sea. Bellamy and over 100 crew members drowned, their bodies washed ashore, tangled in seaweed and wreckage. For centuries, rumors spread that the Whydah carried not just treasure but documents, secret maps, coded letters, and maybe even a pact between pirate crews that would have changed the balance of power in the Atlantic. These whispers grew louder when, in 1984, treasure hunter Barry Clifford found the wreck, the first authenticated pirate shipwreck ever discovered in American waters. Gold coins, pistols, and even human remains were recovered. Yet here's the strange part, Clifford only found a fraction of the cargo. Could the rest still be buried deep in the sand, guarded by the ghosts of Bellamy's crew? Or did someone, maybe a survivor, salvage it long before? The ocean keeps its mouth shut. What do you think? Did the Whydah's real fortune sink forever, or did someone quietly claim it centuries ago? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Number 2, the silent grave of the San José, the Holy Grail of shipwrecks. Off the coast of Cartagena, Colombia, lies a shipwreck so legendary that it's been called the Holy Grail of the seas. The Spanish galleon San José wasn't just a warship, it was a floating fortress carrying unimaginable wealth. In 1708, she sailed with 11 million gold coins, emeralds, and silver bars, all bound for Spain to fund its war against England. But fate, and the British Royal Navy, had other plans. As the San José approached Cartagena's harbor, British warships ambushed her in a thunderous nighttime battle. Eyewitnesses said the sea lit up with cannon fire, and for a brief moment, it looked like the San José might fight her way to safety. But then, disaster. Her powder magazine, the ship's heart of gunpowder, exploded. The blast was so violent that survivors said the ship vanished into the sea in seconds. Over 600 crew and passengers went down with her, along with her vast fortune. And here's where the story takes a strange turn. For centuries, no one could find the wreck. It became a maritime ghost story, a whisper among treasure hunters. In 2015, the Colombian government announced they had finally located the San José at a depth of over 600 meters. But they kept its exact location a state secret. Why? Because her treasure is estimated to be worth over $17 billion in today's money, and multiple nations, private companies, and even descendants of the original owners are battling for rights to it. Yet the gold might not be the only thing hidden there. Some historians believe the San José carried confidential royal correspondence and coded naval intelligence, information that, if recovered, could rewrite parts of early 18th century history. If true, the San José's true value isn't just financial, it's historical dynamite. And here's the twist that fuels the legend. Some divers claim they've seen artifacts from the wreck surface quietly on the black market, suggesting that maybe, just maybe, she's not as untouched as officials claim. Could shadow divers have reached her first? What's your take? Should the San José's treasure belong to the world as shared history, or to the one who risks it all to bring it up? Comment your thoughts below. Number 3, the ghost of the Mary Celeste, a ship without a soul. December 1872. The Atlantic Ocean was calm, the sky almost unnervingly clear, when the British brig Dei Grazia spotted another vessel drifting aimlessly between the Azores and Portugal. The ship was the Mary Celeste. At first glance, she looked perfectly fine, sails intact, no visible damage. But as the crew of the Dei Grazia boarded, they discovered something chilling. The ship was completely empty. No captain, no crew, no signs of struggle. The galley still had hot food in pans. The captain's log was up to date until just 10 days before. Personal belongings, boots, clothing, even jewelry, remained untouched. It was as if the crew had simply stepped off into thin air. The cargo was untouched too, 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol bound for Genoa, Italy. The lifeboat was gone, but the Mary Celeste was seaworthy, making it unlikely the crew would abandon her. So, what happened? Theories flooded in. Some claimed an explosion from leaking alcohol fumes scared the crew into temporarily evacuating, only for a freak wave to separate them from the ship forever. Others whispered of piracy, though nothing was stolen. And then came the wilder ideas, that the Mary Celeste was cursed, that her crew fell victim to sea monsters, or even, alien abduction. But here's where the dark secret takes root, an 1884 short story by Arthur Conan Doyle, written before he created Sherlock Holmes, fictionalized the incident and implied foul play. This blurred fiction with reality, and suddenly the Mary Celeste was more than just a maritime mystery, she became a symbol of ghostly seas, of a ship wandering the oceans eternally searching for her lost crew. Even today, maritime historians admit they cannot conclusively solve the riddle. The ship's wreckage, found in 2001, revealed no evidence of violence or structural catastrophe. The ocean simply kept her secret. And if you believe the legends told in seafaring bars along the coasts, some sailors claim they've seen her silhouette on foggy nights, drifting silently past, lanterns glowing faintly, before vanishing into the mist. What's your theory? A tragic accident, or something the world isn't ready to believe? Share your thoughts in the comments. Number 4, the cursed treasure of the Whydah Gally. In 1717, off the storm-tossed coast of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, the pirate ship Whydah Gally met her violent end. Once a slave ship, she was captured by the infamous pirate Samuel "Black Sam" Bellamy, who transformed her into his flagship. For just over a year, the Whydah plundered merchant vessels along the American coastline, amassing an unimaginable fortune: gold coins, silver ingots, precious jewels, and exotic artifacts stolen from as far as Africa and the Caribbean. On the night of April 26, 1717, a brutal nor'easter slammed into the Massachusetts coast. The Whydah was driven into a sandbar and destroyed by raging waves. Of her 146 crew members, only 2 survived. Along with Bellamy, the ship and its cargo disappeared beneath the sand and surf, buried under 300 years of shifting tides. But here's where history bleeds into legend. Locals claim the Whydah's treasure was cursed. Bellamy, known as the Robin Hood of the seas, was rumored to have sworn that no man who took his gold would live to enjoy it. Fishermen swore they saw ghostly lights dancing on the water above the wreck site. Some reported hearing the faint sound of cannon fire and screams during violent storms. When modern divers began excavating the wreck in 1984, they found astonishing relics: gold dust still clinging to cannon barrels, pistols perfectly preserved in the sand, and even a pirate's leg bone fused to his pistol by centuries of salt and time. Strangely, several divers claimed to have experienced sudden accidents or mysterious illnesses after handling certain artifacts. Whether coincidence or curse, the rumors persisted. Today, much of the Whydah's treasure is displayed in a museum in Provincetown. But some say not all of it was recovered, and that the rest remains hidden, guarded by the spirit of Black Sam himself. Local folklore warns, if you take even a coin from the sea where the Whydah lies, the ocean will take something back from you. Is it just superstition, or is there truly a curse bound to Bellamy's stolen riches? Either way, the story of the Whydah Gally reminds us that not all treasures are meant to be found. Do you think pirate curses are real, or just clever stories to keep treasure hunters away? Let's hear your thoughts below. Number 5, the secret cargo of the San José. In June 1708, during the War of the Spanish Succession, the Spanish galleon San José sailed from Panama loaded with one of the richest treasure cargoes ever recorded, 200 tons of gold, silver, and emeralds mined from the colonies of South America. Her destination was Spain, but first she had to survive the gauntlet of English warships lurking in the Caribbean. Near Cartagena, Colombia, the San José encountered a British squadron. After a fierce cannon battle, one of the galleon's powder magazines exploded. In an instant, the ship and nearly 600 souls vanished beneath the waves. Official Spanish records documented the loss as a tragedy of war. But for centuries, rumors whispered that the San José carried more than just treasure. Some believed the ship was transporting secret documents, coded maps, and royal orders that could expose hidden alliances between Spain and other European powers. Others claimed it held sacred relics stolen from churches in Peru, including a golden chalice said to date back to the early Christian era. For over 300 years, the wreck remained undiscovered. The Colombian government declared the ship a national treasure, while Spain insisted it was their rightful property. Treasure hunters from around the globe joined the hunt, driven not only by greed but by the possibility of unearthing historical secrets. In 2015, the wreck was finally located, but here's where it gets strange. Authorities revealed only fragments of the discovery. Photographs showed gold coins, cannons, and exquisite emeralds glittering in the deep. But certain details, like the ship's exact coordinates, the condition of her holds, and the presence of any unusual cargo, were classified. Divers signed strict non-disclosure agreements. Some insiders quietly hinted that what lay inside the San José could rewrite parts of colonial history. To this day, the debate rages. Is the wreck just a lost fortune waiting to be recovered, or is it a time capsule hiding truths powerful enough to unsettle governments? Colombia has announced plans to build a museum around the treasure once it's fully recovered, but whether the public will ever see everything found aboard remains an open question. The San José rests 2,000 feet below the surface, shrouded in darkness. Her gold still glitters, but perhaps the most valuable thing aboard isn't her treasure, it's her secrets. If you could choose, would you rather see the gold brought up, or the truth revealed? Drop your answer in the comments. Number 6, the vanishing of the Whydah Gally. In 1717, the Whydah Gally was one of the most feared pirate ships on the Atlantic. Originally built as a slave ship, she was captured by the notorious pirate Samuel "Black Sam" Bellamy, who converted her into his flagship. Bellamy and his crew plundered the eastern seaboard, filling the Whydah with gold, silver, ivory, and jewels. But the wealth she carried wasn't just from Spanish galleons, it included smuggled contraband, stolen naval maps, and artifacts from cultures half the world away. On April 26, 1717, the Whydah sailed straight into a nor'easter off the coast of Cape Cod. Locals watched helplessly as the ship battled 70 miles per hour winds and 30-foot waves. By nightfall, the Whydah was gone, swallowed by the sea. Over 140 men drowned, their bodies washing ashore for days afterward. Only 2 survivors lived to tell the tale, and their stories were full of contradictions. For centuries, the Whydah was considered a ghost story, a cautionary tale told in coastal taverns. But in 1984, marine explorer Barry Clifford discovered the wreck. What he found shocked historians. Among the gold and cannons were objects that shouldn't have been there at all: 17th-century West African ceremonial masks, Arabic coins from Morocco, even carved idols from the Caribbean. Some archaeologists began to suspect Bellamy wasn't just stealing for profit, he might have been collecting cultural artifacts, intentionally gathering pieces of lost civilizations. Even stranger were the human remains found encased in hardened sand, skeletons lying side by side with treasure chests, as if they'd been guarding them in death. The layout of the wreck suggested the ship went down fast, with no time for the crew to save themselves or their loot. Yet one part of the Whydah was missing entirely, the captain's cabin. To this day, no trace of it has been found. Local legend says the captain's cabin broke free and drifted miles away, sinking in deeper waters, a floating tomb carrying Bellamy himself, along with the most valuable artifacts he had ever stolen. Some divers claim to have seen faint glimmers of gold in the murky depths offshore, but shifting sands and dangerous currents make the search nearly impossible. The Whydah Gally remains the only authenticated pirate shipwreck ever discovered in North America. Half museum, half mystery, her artifacts travel the world, but the cabin, and whatever secrets it held, are still out there, somewhere in the cold Atlantic. If Bellamy's cabin was ever found, would you want its treasures preserved in a museum, or kept hidden to protect its secrets? Let me know in the comments. Number 7. The Cursed Wreck of the Flor de la Marche. In 1511, the Flor de la Mar was already a legend, a massive Portuguese carrack loaded with the greatest treasure ever assembled in the age of exploration. She carried gold, gemstones, silks, and priceless artifacts plundered from the Sultan of Malacca. The loot was so large it reportedly overflowed the ship's hold, packed into every corner, even stuffed under the crew's bunks. But the Flor de la Mar had a darker reputation. Sailors whispered she was ill-fated, a ship that refused to be tamed by the sea. She had been damaged in storms before, almost wrecked twice, and some believed the Sultan's treasure itself was cursed. Locals said the artifacts were guarded by spirits, and that removing them from Malacca would bring disaster. As the Flor de la Mar set sail for Portugal, a violent storm tore across the Strait of Malacca. Winds howled, waves smashed over the deck, and the overloaded ship groaned under the weight of her greed. In the chaos, her hull split open. Captain Afonso de Albuquerque was rescued, but most of his crew, and the entire treasure, sank beneath the waves. What happened next only deepened the legend. Every salvage attempt in the centuries that followed ended in tragedy. In 1620, a Dutch team claimed to have found the wreck, but their leader drowned mysteriously before revealing its location. In 1928, a British expedition's divers returned to shore with gold coins, but within weeks, 2 were dead from unexplained illnesses. Even modern treasure hunters haven't been spared. In the 1990s, a team searching for the Flor de la Mar lost both their funding and their lead diver in an accident that remains unsolved. Today, the wreck is believed to rest in Indonesian waters, but shifting sands and treacherous currents make it nearly impossible to pinpoint. Theories range from it being buried deep beneath coral to lying in an undiscovered trench. But among fishermen in the region, one belief is certain: the sea doesn't want the Flor de la Mar to be found. Some say her treasure is protected by the spirits of the Sultan's court, forever guarding it from the greed of men. Others believe the curse is real, and that anyone who tries to claim it will pay with their life. Whether it's superstition or fate, one truth remains: the Flor de la Mar has kept her secrets for over 500 years. If this treasure was ever found, would you dare to touch it, even if it meant risking the curse? Tell me in the comments below. Number 8. The Modern Mystery of the SS Republic, a treasure lost and found. In 1865, the SS Republic, a sidewheel steamer, was on a voyage from New York to New Orleans carrying gold and silver coins worth over $400,000, a fortune in post-Civil War America. But disaster struck when a hurricane hit the ship off the coast of Georgia. The Republic sank, taking with her the hopes of many investors and the mystery of lost treasure. For over a century, the shipwreck was lost to time, a watery grave deep beneath the Atlantic waves. Then, in 2003, underwater explorers found the wreck, remarkably preserved. The recovery mission uncovered thousands of coins, gold bars, and personal effects, but the biggest surprise wasn't just the treasure itself. Divers discovered evidence of a secret cargo, encrypted documents and coded boxes that hinted at government dealings, smuggling operations, and conspiracies dating back to the Civil War era. The SS Republic was no ordinary ship. She was carrying secrets powerful enough to change history. The recovery was kept under wraps for years, fueling speculation about what else might be hidden on the ocean floor. Was the treasure the Republic carried just a cover? Did the ship's sinking prevent the exposure of a covert operation? Today, parts of the SS Republic artifacts are displayed in museums, but many believe the real secrets lie in the documents still locked away in government archives. The ocean keeps some of its darkest stories submerged, waiting for the day they finally surface. What secrets do you think the SS Republic's lost cargo holds? Would you want to uncover them or leave them buried forever? Share your thoughts below. Outro. Pirate shipwrecks are more than just stories of gold and gunpowder. They are echoes of human ambition, betrayal, and mystery, tales whispered by the sea itself. Some truths we uncover, others remain locked in watery graves, teasing us with shadows and secrets. Thank you for diving deep into these legendary shipwrecks with the Muted Record. If this journey into history's darkest waters intrigued you, don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories, share this video to keep the mystery alive, and comment below. Which shipwreck secret would you dare to explore, and why? Until next time, keep your eyes on the horizon, because some mysteries are never truly lost.